If there is one thing that most of the accounting firms that we work with can work on, it is leveling up their client experience. This doesn't mean that you are bad at your client experience and providing that awesome client service, but there is always room for improvement. And as you'll see in today's training and video, as we talk about the ways that you can level up, there is room for improvement for everybody across the board, but you don't have to do it on your own because as you know, we are in a very tech-oriented world. There's more and more technology coming out every day that's going to help you to support it while still giving a really great human-first experience. So with that, let's go ahead and dive in. Now, this training today is for you, whether you are a solopreneur, whether you have a large firm, whether you have 1, 10, 2, whatever number of employees and whatever number of clients, because this is something that really does affect everybody. And again, in every industry, right? So whether you're an accountant, whether you are selling insurance, whether you work at Nordstrom's, it doesn't matter. The client experience has always and will continue to matter. So what does that mean when it comes to an accounting firm? And especially in today's digital world with AI coming, what does that look like for you and how can you use tech to make it better? So here's what we're going to talk about today. First, why the client experience should matter to your firm and what you might be missing. Number 2, do it better. This is my favorite part. And then number 3, this is the meat of it. We're going to talk about 8 improvements that you should be making in your business and how you can go ahead and do that. But first, let me give you a really quick introduction. My name is Katie. That right there is my business partner, Ashley. We're the co-founders of Cabot and Maine, and we are former coworkers. We worked in the corporate world together for over 10 years. We've been in business together for 5-ish years now. And so we've been working in accounting and operations for a while. We formed Cabot and Maine back in 2021. We're about to hit our 5-year anniversary coming up soon. We're super excited. And we are also TaxDome certified consultants. We have worked with a million different projects, a million accounting teams. We worked at, like I mentioned, for a $1 billion company in the corporate world. We have managed tech products. We've helped save thousands and thousands of hours in the corporate world and then as well in our entrepreneur lives while we work with small, medium, large businesses. We love working with systems and automation and helping firms to improve the way that they do things. We also have worked with a million different softwares. I say a million, you know what I mean. We've worked with so many different softwares. Here's a list here of just some of them, but there's so many more. So we say that because we know a thing or two about different softwares, what they're capable of, what you should be using them for. And we also know which ones are really great, which ones are maybe not so much. And there's new ones coming out every day. So we are always looking at all the newest, latest software to see what we like, what we don't, and what can help you make your firm better. So our goal really is to help accounting businesses to just work better, work smarter, and create those scalable systems to help you grow. All right, so why do you need to care in today's world? All right, I'm going to move myself over here. I'll move myself around probably a few times. You have to care. It's not an option. And it's important that you stay on top of that client experience for your clients. Number 1, I'm not trying to scare you, but AI is coming for you. What I mean by that is there's so many tools out there. We hear all the time, we don't know what it's going to look like yet, but you do need to think about how you can differentiate yourself, your business, as this world changes right in front of our eyes. And this kind of goes hand in hand with number 2, which is that people are craving a human experience. Because we live in such a techie world, you'll see studies out there. I didn't include them here, but there's this really need to have these like throwback experiences of this human first connection. So you need to give them one. And we talk about tech a lot, but we use that as a tool to help us provide a better customer experience, to help us provide a more human-first connection, not to hand it all off to robots to do it all for us. That is not what we believe. Number 3, this one gets a little sensitive, but it's really easy to jump ship. There truly are a million accounting firms out there. You know it, I know it, your clients know it. And so giving them the greatest experience possible is going to make it hard to find an accounting firm out there that's as good as you. And that's what we want to do. We want to make you irreplaceable for your clients. And number 4, it matters. the way that you treat your customers, the way you treat people in general, right? It does set your brand apart. And if you don't get on board with improving that experience, what are you risking? And what are you willing to risk as far as creating that legacy and that long-term business that you deserve to have? So it does matter. And the human connection, the need to have a great experience, it's always mattered. But I think now more than ever, because of the world that we're living in, it matters more than ever. All right. So my favorite slide here, Thomas Edison, love this guy. There is a way to do it better. Find it. What do I mean by this? You might feel like you have a great client experience, and that is great for you. And I guarantee that if you feel that way, you do. But there is always a way to do it better. Growing up in the corporate world for me as a little baby post-college, we were drilled into this idea of continuous improvement. We would work on processes, we would fine tune them, we would have a great one, and then we would look at it again and again. And we were constantly evolving, constantly finding ways to do it better, do it more efficiently, and provide a better experience for our team, for our clients, whoever we were working with. And I love that mindset because I feel like it's really embedded in me, and I hope to embed that in you too, that we don't set it and forget it. We build things and then we find better ways to do it. So when it comes to the client experience, ask yourself right now, pause this video if you need to, how can you do it better? And what are some ways that we can start to think about that? And I'm going to show you a few in a little bit, but I hope you write that down because it is something I feel really strongly about. And I hope that you do too, because that's what we're going to dive into. And I know that you can improve it. So let's go ahead and dive in. I'm probably going to have to move myself again. All right. 8 ways to level up your client experience. Here they are. And then we're going to go through them one by one. Your first impression, your lead collection process, your immediate acknowledgement of people, client onboarding, ongoing communication, your document collection, your offboarding, and here it is again, continuous improvement. All right, what this is going to look like for each of these. We're going to break it down in how you can upgrade your experience for your clients, how you're going to implement it, and then the tech that you can use that supports it. Okay, a brand new client comes in, they see your website, and what is the first thing they're thinking of? Are they like, I don't even know what they offer? Do they have an office? Are they online? Do they do, taxes for my kind of business? Do they even offer bookkeeping? I don't know. We don't want that, right? We want a very clear website and or social media that has an on-brand, friendly, and clear path of exactly who you are, exactly who you help, and how they can work with you. You need to be so crystal clear in that and be super, super clear on what those next steps are. How you can implement it, here's a few ideas. A how to work with us page or section. CTAs, calls to action on your social media, like book a call, visit our website to learn more, really clear. And then having clear packages or offers outlined. I know sometimes you might customize and maybe you can't lay it out specifically like line for line, but get as clear as you can here and let them know exactly what you offer and who you offer it for. If you do only taxes for a very specific subset of, farmers, I don't know, make that clear. Make your website be welcoming to them so they know. And then number 3, here's some tech that you can use that supports it. Get the right website platform. There's so many easy ones you could do, like a GoDaddy simple web page. We use Wix. It's simple enough. I like it fine. Having your embedded lead forms in there. Typically your website provider will have those, but you can also use some very light tech to use and embed like a type form or even link it to your TaxDome sign up page, for example. So there's some tech that you can use. Lead collection. So this is kind of that next step, right? So we're going to make it really easy for them to inquire for questions or book a call. That is on your website. That is on your social media. They have the first impression. They know who you are. They know who you serve and what you do. Now they want to work with you. So we're going to make it super easy for them to take those next steps to potentially work with you. Okay, we're going to have a clear intake form on your website that walks them through next steps and or includes a direct link to book a call. This can be, depending on your process, they can either book the call directly on your website or maybe you want to review, their form and then you'll respond back to them. Again, tech that supports it. We're going to use our same website platform. We love Calendly for booking a phone call, Zoom call with you. We personally use Reclaim. It's an AI tool, very similar in some ways, at least, to the Calendly when it comes to bookings. You can use a Typeform form or Jot form and connect it to Zapier if you want to take that route. We use Zapier a lot. I'm not going to talk a lot about it here, but it's a great automation and linking tool. And then TaxDome, if you have the client sign up page, again, linked on your website, they can go straight into the pipeline. They can create their account and they can start providing you some basic information. Okay, your overall onboarding experience. So this is when they are coming into your firm. They're now a client and they need to know what they're doing. They need to have a very professional, very guided, clear path of how they're going to get there. We never want to have your clients be reaching out and saying like, so what's next? Or like, what am I doing? I don't really know what I should be doing right now. We don't want that. We want to give them clarity on what they're going to do in each stage of that process. And this onboarding piece might take a little bit of time. It might be quick, it might be slow. Either way, we're going to create a process for them that they know what they're doing. So that might look like a simple checklist, or it might look like a welcome packet, or you're just constantly updating them on what's next throughout your lead process. So for example, in TaxDome, you might be constantly sending them updates and here's what's next. Tech that supports it. We have our TaxDome pipelines, which we love. We also actually use Dubsado for our onboarding. We've used that for years and years, and there's some great benefits to be able to collect information up front and go through that process in a very pretty way. TaxDome also has the ability, of course, to do that through their onboarding pipelines. You have your welcome templates via emails, client tasks, things that you're needing to do. I love this last one, actually, a Canva welcome packet. You can easily go find a template. You just create a packet that lets them know, hey, here's everything you can expect. Here's about our firm, whatever else you want to know. And you can automate that and send that to them right away as well. Great templates on there. It doesn't even take that long to put it together. I've done it a million times for different clients, actually. Not a million. You guys know when I say a million, I don't mean a million. You know what I mean. But I love that tool as well. Okay, ongoing communication. Oh, this is going to look different for everyone, and you know your clients best. So do they need constant updates, constant hand-holding? And what does that look like? That'll look different for everybody. But keeping your clients updated about where they're at in every stage without manual check-ins. My client I was talking to yesterday, actually, she's like, I get a million emails every day. Hey, where am I at with this? Where am I at with this? We don't want that for you. So what can you do to proactively let them know and minimize the check-in emails? And it gives them a better experience. They know they're comfortable with what they're paying you to do. You can implement this with automated emails or status updates so they constantly know where things stand. TaxDome Pipeline, again, great tool to do that. They have automations to send out emails or chats triggers based on where they're at in the process. They also have the client status updates inside their portal. We love to be able to use those so that if they're in their portal, they say, oh, my tax return's in review, or, oh, they just e-filed. You can see all that, and you can do that in an automated way through your pipeline, which is great. Document collection. This is the trouble spot for almost everyone we work with. But we want to make it easy for clients. We don't want to make it complicated, and we want to make it really clear that they know where they're at in the process. So this is where we're going to make the uploading and signing of documents so easy. So you are going to have one client portal. You are going to have reminders set for them. Of course, again, we love using the TaxDome client portal, the ability to have the e-signatures, and also to automate the organizer or client request through that process. This is a way to make it really clear what you need, when you need it, and how to supply it for you. Putting it in an organizer, putting it in a client request is going to make it so much easier for you to not only communicate that out to the client, but internally, of course, to track that as well. And so I highly recommend using some tool, if it's not TaxDome, some kind of tech tool to make that process easier for you and then it's just repeat. You create it and you're repeating it for every client every year. And of course it looks a little different depending on the client, but you get the point. Offboarding. This is something that's actually kind of forgotten about, I would say, most of the time. But it's important because the way you leave your client, your last kind of interaction with them, is going to be what they tell other people. So you want to end it as strong as you started, meaning that you are still keeping your customer service up. You are still being human first, and you are still having those touches, those connection points with them to make sure it just goes so smooth. So you're going to automate thank you emails. You're going to send out some next steps. You're also going to ask them for feedback or reviews. You want to be careful about that. Make sure you're sending it to the right people. Of course, if you have a bad experience, maybe you skip that part. You can automate this through your TaxDome pipelines. A Google review, if you don't already have a Google business account set up, it's a great place to collect reviews. Facebook as well. And then you can also automate this via Zapier if you need to, and have just this process in place, document it out, and offboard your clients appropriately. Continuous improvement. I mentioned it's my favorite tool that we keep in our back pocket, but you have to have data and feedback to be able to do this. So there's lots of places you collect that. You collect it from your own head. You know what works and what doesn't oftentimes. You collect it from your team. You ask them, hey, team meeting, let's figure this out. What did you like? What didn't you like? What are you hearing from clients? And you document that and you keep it. I will say you don't use every single bit of feedback, but you are going to collect that and analyze it to determine, what do I want to take from this? What do I not? What are the trends? And how do we need to use that to adjust? You can use post-engagement surveys to identify any friction points and to use that to improve. Just ask. If you're in a meeting with your clients, ask them. Say, hey, how's it going for you? Anything you'd like us to do different? Just ask. There's a lot of different ways you can collect this using tech. You have Google Forms, Airtable, Notion databases. You can automate this through your TaxDome pipeline. One thing we like to do, for example, is at the end of tax season, having an automation to send out an email with a link to a survey, or going back to the other, a link for a Google review as well. You can also put this in your email marketing tools and collect regular feedback. So lots of ways to do this. Team meetings are another place. You can have forms that you're using for your team to collect that feedback and just make it part of your process. So those really were the 8 primary things. You can implement a lot of these inside of TaxDome or your other systems on your own time. But if you are worried about running out of time, you're feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, you're like, I don't even know how to do this, and you need help quickly, there is another way. We have 2 options to work with us. We have the Future Proof Accountant membership. The link is right there. Inside this membership, we have all your TaxDome templates trainings on how to use them. We also have additional bonus trainings on things like the AI tools that you might be needing, as well as customer experience, things like this as well. We have project plans for you that are fully customizable to help you get all of your pipelines, your tax, your bookkeeping, your client onboarding, etc., done fast. We have weekly live trainings and Q&As, and we also have a community and a support for you and within your accounting peers where you can ask these questions. And then we also have our customized TaxDome builds. So we do these to fit the exact needs of your business. We will build your pipelines A to Z, and we'll help make sure that it makes sense for you, and we'll help you implement it. So we do have our latest case study up on our blog. You can read about how we helped a 10-person firm to put this all together and transform their business. You can find that at Cabin in Maine. You can also find us there to go ahead and book that call using our calendar or our Reclaim link and our automated process, so you can kind of see how it goes. That's all we have for you today. If you have any questions, make sure you post them here. You can reach out to us, visit our website, and thanks for being here.